Shalom ubracha, peace and blessings. I hope this message finds you well. Headlines are designed to draw attention. Quite often, the author of the article is not the author of the headline. Editors select headlines with an eye towards drawing the reader's attention. Editors will use shock value if they must, and I often wonder if they even read the articles before they assign a headline. Headlines are simply clickbait. They're designed to draw your attention to read something that you might not otherwise read. Do they work? Well, you're watching this video. So let's look past the shocking headline that I placed on this video. Do I actually believe that CNN and BBC are correct in not using the word terror or terrorism in describing the terrible attack on the Sarona market in Tel Aviv? While I am reluctant to use the word terror or terrorism in relation to this tragic event, I suspect my motivations and rationale are somewhat different than CNN and BBC. I do not put the words terror or terrorism in quotes. I do not question the fact that random violence for political gain is terrorism. It is in fact a textbook case of terrorism. So why am I reluctant to use the words terrorism or terrorists in relation to this event? So first, let me define the word terrorism. The Middlebury Institute of International Studies defines terrorism as follows: violence that is consciously carried out by the perpetrator or perpetrators, primarily in order to influence the attitudes and behavior of a wider target audience or multiple target audiences. It is violence for psychological effect. In other words, terrorists perpetrate their acts of violence in an effort to buy headlines and influence people. I believe that it's time for us to say no sale. It's time for us to allow terrorists to take their place alongside other criminals in this world. It's time for us to send a message loud and clear. You are statistically insignificant, and we will not allow you to change our way of life and our perspective. When we look at terrorism within the proper context of violent crimes, the statistics disempower the terrorists. Headlines of terrorism lead us to believe that Israel is an unsafe place. When we read of terrorist attacks in Tel Aviv, we're frightened to walk on her streets. Statistics tell us that our fears are inappropriate and somewhat misinformed, based on violent crime statistics of major cities. Tel Aviv and Jerusalem are safer than Boston, Los Angeles, and New York. It's time to place terrorists alongside gang members and muggers. Let us not hand them a victory on a silver platter by elevating them above the common criminals that they are. Let us not give them more influence by focusing on them as a unique group. Let us realize that they are no different than those who perpetrate crimes in the streets of New York, Los Angeles, and Boston. Shabbat Shalom.